Alex Hurst here from True Faith Newcastle United fanzine and podcast. Another post-match video. I think I did the first one of these against Brentford back in 2020. Terrible year, 2020. Finished badly as well for Newcastle fans. And, we lost 1-0. Terrible performance, dreadful defeat. Unforgivable, really. Here we are, 11 games later. Something like that. And still losing. Still losing to bad teams. No disrespect to Leeds, bottom half Premier League team again. Very impressed by them when we played them at their place. But they are the worst team away from home defensively in the Premier League. And what did Steve Bruce decide to do tonight? He started with the 5 at the back formation. If I include tonight, which I will, that's now 2 wins in 25 Premier League games playing that formation. A stat so ridiculous it barely comprehends, it barely makes sense that a manager would select that formation. I always assume he knows these things. You assume the coaching staff, you assume someone says, right, we're going to go back with 5 at the back again, lads. And someone pipes up, one of the Steves, or one of the players says, we'll just never ever win playing like that, boss. And you assume they say, well, this is how it's going to be different tonight. This is how we're going to do better. Can anyone watching this tell me what we did better while we're playing 5 at the back in that first half? We're set up to lose these games. We're going to these games. I fully believe the players know we're going to lose these games. That is the natural way of it. Newcastle United playing this formation with that team selection, we're going to lose that game. And they lost that game. We lost that game in the first half when Leeds deservedly went 1-0 up. Once again, 7 Newcastle United players in the box. Free shot. Just like the second goal against Aston Villa at the weekend. All 10 outfield players in the box. Free shot for their lad. It is a symptom of not bad coaching, no coaching. There is no coaching of the players going on. It seems ridiculous to suggest now that any player under Steve Bruce has improved. Steve Bruce called him the mighty Rafa. Disrespectful comment, needless comment. That's the kind of man he is. That's how he conducts himself as the manager of Newcastle United. The mighty Rafa, I could give you a whole squad of players that got better the longer that Rafa Benitez worked with those players. Look at the players Steve Bruce has been working with now for 18 months, getting on towards 2 years. And they're all worse. The players are worse. Isaac Hayden's played the majority of the game at right back tonight. Why is that? 2 right backs on the bench. These are not the decisions of a competent man. These are not the decisions of a forward-thinking, progressive manager who was able to manage against his peers in the Premier League with those kind of decisions. Hayden did great for the goal, playing in the middle, in midfield. He drifted into, like a lot of people watch a game on BT Sport, found the commentary disrespectful. Second half, plucky Newcastle United went and had a few shots and a few chances and probably deserved something from the game in the second half. I didn't think they deserved something from the game overall. I think if you look at the balance of the game, Leeds were the better side, completely dominant in the first half. That tends to be forgotten in these things because it was the first half. Leeds were the better side, and plucky old Newcastle United managed to get a few shots in and score a goal. Fantastic. Two goals in 12 games now. Wow. It's just not good enough. 21 points from 26 Premier League games. The last 26 Premier League games, obviously. I haven't just picked 26 random Premier League games in the past 18 months. And that is the kind of record that gets managers sacked. I don't think there's another manager in the Premier League apart from maybe Chris Wilder at Sheffield United, for obvious reasons in terms of where he's taken them from, their wage budget and so forth, that could withstand that. So why can Steve Bruce, how come it's okay for Steve Bruce to talk about progress? I read an article today on the True Faith website that reminded me that the first game Steve Bruce took charge of against Arsenal, terrible performance, lost the game thanks to his terrible substitution. He said there was a lot to be positive about, a lot to be pleased about. Well, here we are, 60-odd league games on. We're worse. We are a worse side than we were then. So how can we be positive? How can there be progress? I firmly believe if Steve Bruce cared about this football club, he'd resign. 21 points from 26 Premier League games. You do not survive that kind of run as a manager in the Premier League at a normal football club. There is nothing from Steve Bruce's career to date that suggests he's going to be able to turn this round. We'll go to Everton next week and then we'll start a harder run of games. We've got some good teams coming up. We've played the worst side defensively away from home tonight and they still deserve to win. And it took us going 1-0 down and to throw his disastrous 5 at the back tactics out of the window to even get into the game at all. I wouldn't be surprised if that was player-led. I would not be surprised if that was player-led at all. And whilst there was, semblance of an improvement in the second half, it's what desperate teams do, throw men forwards. It should not take having to go 1-0 down and then potentially concede more goals to jolt a side into life, particularly when you're playing a side that is very bad defensively, particularly away from home. So another dreadful performance, another dreadful defeat. The idea that Steve Bruce could take this football club forward or even keep them where they are now is laughable. And anyone who thinks that, I would love to hear the analysis or the thought process behind it. But how would you explain picking up only 21 points from the last 26 Premier League games? How would you explain winning 2 of the last 25 Premier League games, playing the formation that he started with tonight? It's an act of self-harm by the manager. It's an act of self-harm by the football club. He needs to be sacked. If he cared about the club, he'd resign. I don't think either will happen. So it's a tough time to be a Newcastle United fan. And we'll go to Everton now on Saturday. Everton are a much better team than us. We'll get beat. Such is the life of Newcastle United under Steve Bruce. Thanks for watching.